What's up and good morning, guys. Welcome back to another video. I dropped Joe off at the job site this morning, and then Abel said he wanted some 5-gallon buckets. So I've spent all morning driving around this little town here trying to find some 5-gallon buckets. The Ace Hardware I went to doesn't open till 9. And Rhino's not a morning person, but man, if I owned a hardware store, I would open at 7. I found a hardware store down the street that opened at 8, which it was just about 8. I pull up to that. They had a sign on their door that said, new hours, don't open till 9. So then I was driving by an O'Reilly's, and I was like, I bet they got car wash 5-gallon buckets. Went in there, they only had like a mop bucket. And then we just stopped by AutoZone. They saved the day. AutoZone had some 5-gallon buckets. We've got them right there in the back. And then because we happen to be next to a donut shop, I figure, you know what? Let's get the guys some donuts this morning. Keep everybody nice and happy and fed. Okay, we've made it back to the job. Got all the guys doing the last little bit of handwork in that back alleyway. We've got Dave over here rocking out to some oh, you got your light on, sir. You got your light on. Is that for ambiance?
Well, I was trying to see what, you know how like in a horror movie, right?
Okay. That's a horror movie.
It's going in, you know.
So we just met with the plumber who gave me all of like the dimensions on where we need to dig for his plumbing to go in, and then Dave uncovered the pit of hell.
Despair.
Okay, the pit of despair.
Yeah.
So if you guys watched my previous video, we recapped when I first came in here, and this hole was dug here to put a post for this truss system for some odd reason, even though this truss system is rated to and is holding up the roof. But the previous tenants decided they wanted a post right here, so they dug this hole and then found the main sewer line. And well, they shifted the hole over a little bit, but obviously this isn't gonna get used. So Dave's had this covered for pretty much, I don't know what. So a year, covered for a year, and well, we just opened it up and it's full of doo-doo water and some toilet paper.
Allegedly.
The plumber said maybe it's groundwater. Now it's getting vacuumed out.
You think I could hook up a hose and siphon it out somewhere?
Yeah, you suck on the end of the hose.
Why use the vacuum to suck on the hose?
I want to get a big welcome now. I want you to put your hands in the air. We got a yellow vest. We got a yellow vest in the house. Ladies, I want you to give it everything you got right now for my man,
Dave, way to make the new guy feel at home. Okay, back to our meeting with the plumber. So I've got all of my depths. So what they did basically before we come in is they ran a camera line through the sewer system, and next door there is a bathroom in the back of a liquor store that runs directly through here. So basically this pink line that you see that kind of runs there, into the pit of despair where Dave is scooping out poop water and putting it in the toilet. Oh yeah, that's definitely not poop water, Dave. That looks great. We have to be careful now though, because we don't want to hit that. And eventually this sewer line is going to tie into all the new stuff that we're putting in. But for now, we need to leave them a functioning bathroom. So we're basically going to work alongside this sewer line, which is fun. When you're doing sewer, as you guys know, you need to have fall, right? Poop runs downhill. So we're going to start at about 26 inches down, give or take, once we expose the pipe. And then we need to fall all the way out, because in the alley, the sewer is about 4 feet down. So we need to gradually fall all the way out to the alley. I think we're doing a 1/4 inch per foot. So that means every foot we need to drop a 1/4 inch. So in 4 feet, you're dropping 1 inch, right? So every 4 feet, go down 1 inch. That's basically how that works. So we have to keep that in mind when we're digging. We're gonna probably dig it a little bit lower, maybe bring in some sand and let the plumber adjust accordingly exactly where he wants it. But that's gonna be this main trench that goes down the center. Then we have all these little wing trenches that go off, and these go to like bar sinks, floor sinks, and all that type of stuff. So those we're gonna be starting at 15 inches. We'll gradually go down, and then they're just gonna drop down into the main line that's running through. Now, I'm not a plumber, don't ever want to be a plumber. I suck at plumbing, and everything I do seems to want to leak. So I'm going off my plumber's instructions on what he wants us to do. I will come in, do all the digging for him, and then he comes in and hooks everything up. We've got a lot of little wings that have to start getting connected here. And really, a plumber's got a pretty difficult job, because they have to look at a set of plans and then pre-plan where everything needs to stub up and go. You'll notice in the last video, we were breaking out in the bathrooms here. Now there's some like new sewer stuff that was put in for these 2 bathrooms from the previous tenant, or I believe the owner's trying to like get this place rented out, which are all these weird trenches right here. So there's new plumbing that ran to these 2 bathrooms, runs across there, which we're also going to intercept once we get onto the other side here. And then coming outside, everything's going to tie into the main. There's going to be a big bar sink down there. It's going to come over to here, cross out, This area is dug out because all of the soda lines are gonna be right here for all of the on-tap sodas for the bar, and it's all gonna stub out right here in this little section. We're only gonna break it to here for now, maybe a little bit further to there. That way we still have a walkway, and basically they're gonna do all of their inside plumbing, stub it out, wait for inspection whenever that happens, then we'll fill everything back in. And then later we're gonna come out here, we're gonna dig a big trench, and then there's gonna be a big grease pit that goes right there that's like a 4 foot by 3 foot, pretty good sized hole. Thankfully though, again, the sewer in the alleyway is only 4 foot deep. Sometimes you do these and you gotta dig down 8 feet or more to hit the sewer in the street. Shouldn't be too big a deal, but this will all be at a later date. For now, we're focusing on the inside. You think that's what the tweakers are seeing in their mind? When the tweakers are out fighting nobody in the street, you think this is what they're seeing? Alrighty, so there was a couple of spots that were missed yesterday that weren't marked out for the saw cutter, so they're saw cutting some stuff right now, which makes horrible content because it's way too loud, you can't hear me talking. So I walked down the street to the first restaurant me and Dave ever built together, which is this masterpiece that I'm standing inside of. This was such a freaking rad, cool project. If I had been doing YouTube back then, I mean, we probably couldn't even have shown 90% of the stuff that we were doing because it got pretty wild back then, let me tell you. This beautiful masterpiece that we brought, all tongue and groove cedar. Now this has been out in the weather. This is an open air restaurant, as you guys can see. I mean, it's got a roof-ish over top of it, but it is exposed to the elements. We finished this 8 years ago, and all of the wood is still standing. It's holding up well. I mean, there's a little bit of sun bleaching going on this side, which this side faces the sun, you know, obviously in the mornings. For being exposed to the elements for 8 years, I think our handiwork has held up pretty well. And there are a lot of cool little tricks in this project to make it not so ordinary. Walls inside these booths, they actually pitch out. Like, these aren't plumb 90-degree walls. They pitch out, which made the framing very interesting. It made building the booths and insetting all of the lumber very interesting. And then each one's got its own little kind of wild geometric pattern inside. We were doing this way before this like decorative wall trend blew up all over Instagram. I'm not gonna say we were the first to do it, but we're pretty early on into that. Then on the other side, we inset a bunch of triangles, which are all CNC cut, and all the tongue and groove was trimmed out around it. So it kind of gives you this nice geometric shape going all through here. And then above us, we have what I like to call the harps. And you'll see there are these radiused steel pieces on the ceiling that have, it's basically like bungee cord going to it. And it's really just a decorative design feature. And the craziest thing about all of this is above us, this entire structure is just like, it's like a car wash carport awning. And we built this all up underneath it. The car wash awning thing was existing. We came in, framed out underneath it, and built this. I mean, we made some giant, sweet radiuses out of plywood that we had this giant jig set up on the floor, and we routed out. This floor was here the entire time. This is all Trex flooring. And from framing to painting to everything, we preserved this floor perfectly to where we could still reuse this for the restaurant. And then we have Dave coming from the lavatories.
Probably 152 now.
Okay, nice. Making weight?
I mean, between the bungee cord move and the optical illusion, you know, I'm just big fan of that. It's a cheap trick, but 8 years ago, to have a computer cut some triangles and stuff, like that's a little less common than it is now. I think what Anna does is she looks at like popular colors, like, or like she'll go to some kind of social media thing and be like, what's going to be the next color thing, and then she'll just go against it. Whatever it is, just find something that's
Dave's wife, by the way, who is the designer. Yeah. Put it in context. Yeah. One of Dave's wives. One of Dave's wives. This one's the designer. You got the doctor, the restaurateur.
There's only one wife. There's only one wife. I mean, do you want to pop a window? Or?
Yeah, pop the window open. All right, this is a cool trick that we did. And again, like, now I see these at restaurants everywhere, and you can buy them pre-made.
This is I can just imagine how giddy me and Rhino, at least I was.
Oh yeah.
At this point. I mean, this thing is awesome. You know, I don't mean to be a name dropper, but McMaster is fucking dope.
There you go. we were pretty proud of those when we built those.
I mean, that's still fun, dude.
Yeah.
You don't look so good.
Casey, you all right, buddy?
Jesus.
Casey, go home. Oh, jeez.
No, he's gonna stay. He wants it.
Ah, go home.
I think it could work.
Casey, you're gonna break your tape measure, man. It's not worth it, buddy. It's not worth it.
Did you hear that? I got another one.
Oh.
Snap town.
Yeah.
Casey.
No, I'm staying far away from Casey, man. There it is. Yeah, stay out there. We just closed that so you don't come in. So Casey's been gone. He's been sick. He looks sick. We don't know what's going on with Casey, but
That's not how Casey looks.
Yeah, we don't want him near us. Bye, buddy. Go home. I'll pay you for the day.
We were just remarking about how, oh man, Casey used to show up on time with his shirt tucked in and clean shaven, and this is, the fact that he still has a shirt on right now is weird.
12 feet, Casey. 12 feet.
12 feet? I thought it was only 6.
Not for what you got, dog. You don't look so good, man. We've had Abel over here busy hand digging out so we can expose the pipe before we start digging, and we found all kinds of stuff up in here. This used to be an old floor sink, which is basically a mop drain, whatever you want to call it. Oh, we got some weird stuff going on. Look at this thing swoops back that way. And then the cast iron's about right where Abel's foot is. We got maybe this was a vent at one point. I talked to, I believe, the landlord or property owner, and he said that this mop sink never really worked because the guy who put it in didn't vent it. Looks like maybe that was supposed to be a vent line, which is weird that it's so far off the wall, but I don't really understand. I think we can cut it right there, Casey.
Right there?
Yeah.
Want the sawzall or bolt cutter?
I don't know, whatever you got, man. Whatever's easier. Thank you, Casey.
You're welcome.
You can see right here is the cast iron pipe. This is the one that we're trying to be careful of. Looking pretty good. So that runs straight through. We're gonna hand dig all around that because as soon as you look at cast iron the wrong way, it just crumbles. And again, we don't want that to happen. I can get over to you. Yeah. We got the breaker switched over to the bucket, and thankfully my man Damien over there has done a bunch of these. You guys have seen on my excavator that I have the Bobcat exchange system, which basically it's all hydraulic pins. You never have to get out of the cab to switch your bucket or your breaker or whatever attachment. Well, I guess for a breaker because you got to connect the hydraulics, but finagling stuff like this. Thankfully, these buckets on these E20s are super light, so you can manhandle them by hand and get the pins in. But if you have somebody that doesn't know what they're doing on the end here and what they're looking for to get those pins in, it's like a back and forth that takes forever. So Damien's done this a bunch. Now what we're doing is we're gonna be basically skimming the top of the pipe. Abel's gonna go around the sides of it with his trenching shovel, that little shovel that you see right there. So I'm just gonna skim across the top, hopefully not break it. And just like we've kind of been doing everything here, I'm gonna take each scoop. It's gonna go into a wheelbarrow. The guy's gonna be wheelbarrowing it out. It's a slow process, however, it is much faster having the machine do the digging and just having a few guys running wheelbarrows than it would be to do all of this by hand. So we've had a little change of plans. Originally, we thought we were gonna be taking all of this dirt outside and just exporting it all, and the plumber was gonna bring in some new stuff. However, the plumber says that is not the case. So instead of bringing all of this out to the parking lot to then haul it out from there, we're actually gonna just stage it next to the hole, and the plumber wants to use it all to put back in. He's gonna shade around the pipe with some gravel and some sand, and then he wants to backfill with this. So that's what we're gonna do. And this dirt is like horrible. It apparently has been a lot of water leaching into the ground over the years. It's gonna stay open for a while, so the dirt will kind of dry back out, but this is like the worst stuff to dig in. You can see it sticks to your shovel. It is no fun. I mean, it sticks in the bucket of the Mini X stuff. So I went around just to make it easy for everybody, and I put all of our markings on what our depths need to be at this point in the footings, or in the trenches. So all we gotta do is dig, run around with the tape measure, make sure we're 16 inches there, 17 inches there, 18 inches there, and it works its way all the way out. All right, y'all, well, we screwed up. We're doing a real good job avoiding this pipe. You can see all of this was kind of exposed by hand. I just skimmed over top of it to help these guys out, because getting just to that depth, I mean, this stuff is just the absolute stickiest clay. It sucks to dig through. We're skimming over it over here, and well, I just barely nicked the side of it right there and put a hole in her, which now you can see is leaking out a little bit of, yeah, some kind of gross stuff. Good news is though, there's still like the bottom of the pipe is still there. We just poked a hole in the side. So as long as there's not too much water going through, it should like keep passing. Yeah, we'll have to get the plumber out here and patch that in for now. And again, that's just temporary. Once they get all this new sewer system in, they're gonna be tying it in over here for the adjoining units. They'll all be going into our new system. So this just has to kind of survive long enough until the new system is in. Alrighty, y'all, well, this morning we've got the guys from A Cut Above coming in to haul out all the concrete. It's more than I want to try and haul with my Diamond T dump trailer, because I would have to make just so many trips throughout the day. Obviously, they've got a 10-wheeler and a Bobcat, so we're just paying them to export all of the concrete for us. Alrighty guys, well, all of the back concrete here has been removed, and I feel like I've been on this job site too long with Dave to not be shirtless yet, so now we're shirtless, and so I apologize if that ain't for you. Now, unfortunately, inside here we are stuck with all of the handwork. I've done pretty much everything that we can do with the equipment, but now it is all back to handwork, and this stuff just sucks. It sticks to your shovel. You have to smack your shovel every time you take a load out. It's not fun stuff to work in. I mean, that's for sure. I would not want to put this back in. However, nobody wants to pay to export it. The plumber wants to put it back in, so we're putting it back in. We're not too worried about it not being a solid foundation for our concrete to go on, because we're gonna be bridging across. We're gonna be doweling in rebar. Like, the concrete would float there in place if we really wanted it to, and not rely on the base below it to hold it. So we're not worried about it not being good base material for the concrete. It's just gonna suck putting back in as well, because it sucks taking it out. Now, one thing you'll notice is we don't do commercial construction like a lot of people do. And most commercial job sites you go on to, everybody's just miserable. And I get it, there's a lot of red tape, and if you're an employee of a company that like really takes the red tape to the next level, it's just not not fun. We're always having fun. We got music playing, mind you, this is not my playlist. I'm not a pop country guy, that's for sure. But like, I mean, tell me what commercial job site you've been on where somebody builds a microphone stand to hold the 2 microphones so they can MC anytime somebody new walks onto the job site. And we just love to have a blast while we're working, even when there's days like this where the mud sucks, the dirt sucks, but your attitude is what makes the day good, right? I mean, every day can suck. If you really want to think about it, every day sucks. You're working. The attitude that makes the day great. And we just have fun. We're all in it together. It sucks for all of us, but we're gonna have a good attitude. We're gonna have a good time. And yeah, I'm standing in the bathroom because it's quiet. It's part away from all this freaking bumping music. Roof is back on. We've got to tighten one more bolt down, so she's a little rattly right now, but we're using the backfill blade to push the dirt over to where we really want it. We're staging it next to where the concrete was. Now the concrete's out of here. We need to get this out of the way so we actually have parking spots. I did get hit by the meter maids today, guys. They got me. They got me. Wasn't paying attention and they got me. Now, one thing I didn't show on the E20 is how the tracks go in and out. If you guys have used this before, it's probably not that impressive, but people that have never seen one of these, I think it's a really cool feature. So we'll show you that in a second once I get this moved. But the cool thing is, on the backfill blade, obviously when the tracks are wider, you don't want your tracks wider than the actual backfill blade, right? Because if you try to push piles like I'm doing right now, you're just gonna get a bunch of stuff going up under the wheels and it's gonna mess everything up. So they have these little plates right there, which you can add. You just pull that little pin out, and I'll show you again once this is done. That end just flips around, and now you're the width of the narrower tracks. That's pretty cool. I mean, they kind of thought of everything when they built these to actually fit through smaller doorways and entries.
It's a 15-minute zone. Next time I'll do it, okay? You can't use this all day.
Okay.
Go ahead and move.
Pain in the ass, parking around here.
Fuck no, they're stupid. This loading zone's for this business.
Right? Yeah, it's weird, man. It seems like they should exempt that.
All right, y'all, we're on ticket number 2 for our parking for today. So I'm up to $104 in fines. Yeah, there he just went by right there. I think he's following Papa Rhino around to see where he parks to go mess with him next. What a joy it is working in areas like this. Now this guy, when Dave came out, Dave's like, hey man, I can move it if you want. And he's like, nah, it's too late, you're getting a ticket. And then Dave somehow convinced him to let him move, which I've had them do before. And then they had already written the ticket and they act like they're being nice to you. And then you pull up and then they still put the ticket on your thing because they already wrote it. But they acted like they were being nice to you. Alrighty, now that we're hiding from the meter maid back here, check this out. We'll show you guys how the tracks go in and out. The tracks up off the ground by using the backfill blade in the back. And then we use the boom in the front. Now that our tracks are off the ground, there's a little switch right here that turns the backfill lever into the track lever. Flip that switch. Now the tracks come in. Super easy. While we're here, we'll spin them to clean them off. And then here's how easy these little wings come off. You literally just pull this out. It helps if you have 2 hands available. Pull that out. It flips around. And it lives right there. We just walked out in the middle of a photo shoot going on here. Look at it. Look at this angle. Look at this angle Dave's getting on the sunshine over there.
Yeah, huh? All right, now look like you're paying attention to something. Yeah, there you go. That's what I want right there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like you just saw like a type of plant.
No. It's like some guy that works under you is asking you a dumb question right now because you're the only guy that knows what's going on here. Abel is over here kicking butt getting this trench all finished up. So this one started, we're at 31 inches right here and it has to go all the way down to, I believe, 36 over there. Thankfully we have tools like the roto hammer right there. We put a shovel attachment on it and that helps break through some of this clay. But again, everything just sucks. I mean, all of the shovels end up weighing way more. You have to stop every once in a while and clean your shovels because they add like 3 or 4 pounds to them, sometimes 10 pounds depending on how much clay and mud is stuck to it. It's just about the worst type of dirt conditions to work in. Clay and river rock mixed in together. Like there's nothing fun about any of this. However, everybody here, we're in pretty good spirits. And this pipe is where that new plumbing was put in for these bathrooms before we came in. Again, there's their plumbing trench that runs over there. So this, I believe, is going to remain. I'm not really 100% sure what's going on there, but the plumber wants a trench right there, as well as a trench right there. So I'm assuming those are gonna connect and something's gonna go in between. Got Joe and Damien being rock stars in the tunnel of hell back here. This guy's king of butt. Damien comes from a construction background. Joe just was like, this sounds like fun. Joe's over here, but I mean, both of these guys, Damien, he's new to working with us. Damien, how's it been, bro?
Man, pretty damn good, man. I ain't got no complaints, man. Just putting in work.
There you go, there you go. So Damien works with the saw cutting company. We saw him, oh geez, now of course the lights are gonna cut off. The first hour I was working alongside Damien, I'm like, man, like, we got to get you to come back, bro. Damien's over here kicking butt. Don't complain, he's excited. You've been excited all day, even before you see how weird and crazy we are.
Hell yeah, dude.
The next generation, like y'all need to get excited for this sort of stuff.
You gotta have more energy for your 8 hours. It's 8 hours, you know. After 8, you hit the gate, you know.
There you go.
Come with energy, positive attitude. Your day run real smoothly.
These are horrible conditions to be working in. Like, it's hot back here, Damien. There ain't barely any light. Like, it sucks back here, but you're positive, bro, all day.
Hell yeah.
I appreciate it.
Negative, you know.
There you go.
Yes,
hell yeah, man. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, it's been great working with Damien. Of course, Joe over here kicking butt.
Yes, sir.
Looking good, buddy.
Sir, another wheelbarrow ready to go out.
You ready to get in the trades full time?
Maybe.
So I've just been running around trying to be support for these guys, dumping wheelbarrows when they need them dumped and letting them keep chugging along. We only have so many roto hammers and jackhammers. There's only so many guys digging at once. I'll just be the pack mule today, moving wheelbarrows. Exacto, Evo. 36. Está bien. Ajá. Perfecto. No, ese 15 para allá, maybe aquí 17. Está bien. Este es level. Sí, está bien. So, aquí 15 para 18. Y pásale poquito de plate. Está bien, Evo. Now, if you've been following the channel for any extended period of time, you guys know we never get the easy jobs. We don't have the big wide open fields to get an excavator or machine in. We're always like either having to squeeze right next to a building or like nothing about the job is easy. This is kind of one of those. You can see Damien over here basically having a 5-gallon bucket, everything out into the wheelbarrow from that little hole that we opened up inside of the shear wall that we're using to support the roof. Well, y'all, that is a wrap on the day and a wrap on this video. Again, it's just horrible digging conditions when the dirt is like this. But one of the other things that kind of sucks when you're in small spots like this and when the concrete is just so crappy, and even though I say that, it's actually a lot better than we had thought it would be, but there's so many cracks and joints and stuff that anytime I move the machine around to come back over here to dig out the trench, we end up losing chunks like this. This area just completely cracked off, so we're gonna have to square that up with a saw. That way when we go to patch all of this concrete, we have a nice square edge to patch to instead of trying to fill in all the jaggedy stuff. It looks horrible, and I believe, I'm trying to talk them out of it, the flooring in here is just gonna be the concrete. I'm trying to get them to at least like polish it. There's so many different like layers of times that this place has been renovated. Anyway, super thankful for all the guys that are helping us on this project. There is nothing fun about this stuff, but again, we're all in it together and we're gonna make the best of it. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're not subscribed already, please click the subscribe button now that you do not miss out on any future content. Don't forget to give this video a like, aka a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out workforapparel.com because if there's anything you want in this life, you gotta be willing to work for it. You guys are the best. I'm out.
Damn.